Hi everyone, it's Karen here with a new video tutorial for a Christmas in July YouTube hop with a few of my friends. Today I created a vintage Christmas tree canvas with a lot of texture. All the products and links are listed in the description area below, as well as all the channels of the YouTube hop, so you can stroll along and hop through all the videos. I'm also giving away a prize, so stay till the end of the video to watch how you can win an amazing Prima Marketing Christmas prize. Enjoy hopping! The first thing I did is I took 8x8 burlap canvas and I covered it roughly with some white gesso. This is Prima Marketing Finnabair Heavy White Gesso, and I applied it using my Prima silicone brush, which is a really great tool to apply anything because it's really soft and it goes on any surface. While the gesso was still wet, I took some stupendous embossing powder. This is the shabby green color, and using a little spoon, just basically spread it around in different areas, trying to stay away from the middle because I knew the tree was going to go in the middle. And then I used my catching tray to just dump some of the excess, but most of it stayed on because the gesso was wet. And then I used my heat tool to just melt the embossing powder on the gesso, and it gave it a really nice distressed look that was really nice to see. Then I took some clear texture paste from Prima Finnabair and just to add a little bit more texture to the background. I cut a triangle out of an old banner pad from Julie Nutting. This is actually the front of the back of the pad, and I made it shorter by cutting it, but you could just cut a triangle out of cardboard. And then I'd use 3D matte gel to spread it all around, and took a different sized lace and different colors lace trims basically, and just started adding them to create the tree. So this is the biggest one that I have at the bottom, and I've just been collecting them over the years. This one has pom-poms, so it's really cute and it's perfect for the Christmas tree theme. And then I started layering, adding different size trims and just cutting them down and then basically layering them all the way up to the tree. After cutting a few of the trims, I realized that I did want the trims to kind of stick out of the tree, so I actually left some of the trims sticking out so it would look more distressed, because I really like that look. And I added some more different types of trims just to add more texture on top of others. To create some ornament looking embellishments, I grabbed some baubles these are Finnabair from Prima. They're just not glass, they're plastic, flat on one side and round on the other, and they're really perfect for these type of embellishments, and I just added them to create the nice ornaments on my tree. I used the same 3D matte gel from Prima to glue it because I knew that I wanted it to stay clear, and this gel dries really clear behind a clear embellishment. To add even more texture, I used some cheesecloth to add texture behind the tree and cut off the excess. Then I used the same gel to glue that cheesecloth to the background. I cut a few more triangles the same size as the other triangle for the tree. I took them out of the same paper pad. Since it was old, it didn't matter. And I just stuck them up to kind of give it the tree a 3D dimension. Then I took the heavy white gesso again from Prima Finnabair, and I just basically covered all the little bubbles with the gesso, so it would all be even and matching with the lace. I wanted to add a very slight color to the background or to the tree, so I took the Prima Memory Hardware by Frank Garcia. This is the French Sage, and I started adding it with a paintbrush and then spraying it with water. The nice thing about these powders is that they react with water and they become water soluble. And they also, what is nice is that they have kind of a vintage feel to them, and they have the vintage colors. So it was perfect for this tree specifically, because a lot of things dilute with water, like brushos and color bursts, but these actually have a vintage feel, and that's what I liked about these. So I used this one to add color underneath different things around the bubbles and also underneath the lace, and then would spray it with water to let the powder kind of melt inside and create that really nice effect that you see. I also ended up adding it around the tree on top of the cheesecloth and underneath to kind of create a shadow behind the tree. I also added the Prima Memory Hardware Artisan powder in Vintage Ivory. This just gave a little bit of more of a yellowish tone, and I just added it in certain places because it really helped with the vintage look. I did the same technique that I had done with the French Sage by adding it with a paintbrush and then spraying it with the water. Then I took some ice resin enamels in the chartreuse color, which is a really nice, again, vintage green, because it has a mix of green and a little bit of black in it, and just added it with a spoon in different areas to just add more texture. And then I also went around with the stupendous shabby green one that I had added in the background, and went around as well and added some of it randomly on the tree. Then I took my heat tool and melted both embossing powders on this. Then I took again the white gesso and painted over the bubbles and some of the lace to kind of create the white effect and bring everything, the highlights, back into my project. For the star at the top of the tree, I took one of the Prima Finnabair mechanical gears. This is an old set, and I took one that kind of looked like a star in the background, and then I added in something on top afterwards. But first I covered it with white gesso and heat set it. I took the Prima Finnabair Mechanicals Barn Stars and added one big star on top of the tree. And then I took some smaller stars and just embellished around the tree randomly with the little stars. Of course, then I took and glued all the stars with my gel again. I felt like my background, although had a lot of texture, it was kind of empty. So I took a star stencil. This one is Prima, but the one I've linked below is, I found the same one from the Crafter's Workshop, because this one is not available anymore. And I didn't have the other one, so that's why. And I took some 3D matte gel and just basically created some stars around the background in different areas and in different sizes. So it would add a little bit more interest to the background. While the gel was still wet, I took some diamond dust and just basically sprinkled it on top of the wet stars, and then shook off the excess because I really wanted the background to kind of look like a starry night, and the diamond dust really makes it look very Christmassy. So it was perfect for this. So I took my tray, my catching tray. As you can see, I'm just placing all the excess diamond dust. Most of it stayed on my stars and the rest just went into the tray. For the title, I took some Prima Marketing wooden 3D alphas and spelled out the word peace. I took some white gesso and just covered it, each letter, with some white gesso on all areas, both the front and on the sides. But I did it roughly so it would look kind of distressed like the rest of the tree. Then I added some gel, roughly as well, and took my diamond dust and just sprinkled it on top of each letter to kind of add a little bit more sparkle to each letter and to the word itself. Then I took the gel again and just glued each letter to the background. I realized once I stuck the letters that they were kind of suspended in the air and I needed them to have a background. So I needed to extend the tree all the way to the bottom of the canvas. I took some more cheesecloth and basically stuck it underneath the letters and just arranged the letters again because the gel was still not very wet, so I could like move around. And I used the gel to kind of like just glue this cheesecloth underneath. Of course, the cheesecloth was white, so I had to kind of take all the other products that I had used before and just basically make it match the rest of the tree. I took the French Sage memory hardware powder and started adding it on top of the cheesecloth to kind of get that shadow behind the word, and then use the water to just kind of dilute that powder and make it look as if it was matching the rest of the tree. Once I had the powder out already, I took it to add more shadow around the tree by adding it on the cheesecloth that I had added previously. And I also played around with the gesso a little bit, so went back and forth to kind of create the look that I wanted. I realized some of the cheesecloth was kind of sticking out and I wanted it to fray a little bit more and to be more distressed. So I actually took my scissors and started cutting in between to kind of make those strands loose and look as if they're kind of like coming out of the strands are coming out of the tree, and they look like garlands. So it really made it look a little bit more Christmassy. And then I just played around between the gesso and the powder to create the look that I wanted. Finally, I took the powder and just kind of brushed it around all the stars from the background to create shadows around those stars, and of course use my water to kind of dilute the powder. And that was the final touch that really added some of that green to the rest of the background and kind of made it all match up together. So the stars stuck out more because they had this shadow behind them. Finally, I added a little bit of powder on my mat and wet it with a spray, and then added a little bit of the green in certain areas and kind of made a border around my canvas. I hope you get a chance to hop through all the YouTube channels from our hop today. And all the channels, as I said, are listed below in the description area, and you can just see all the beautiful projects from all the designers and what they did for the Christmas in July YouTube hop. I hope you subscribe also to all the channels so you can support us and see all the inspiration. I'm also having a giveaway, and I'm giving away this Prima Marketing ribbons and foil from Christmas, so you can make your own Christmas cards for this December. All you have to do to win this giveaway is subscribe to my channel and leave a comment below. Thank you so much for watching. For more inspiration, subscribe to my channel and visit my website. Bye!